Hello, everyone, and welcome to GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling podcast I run over here on YouTube.com. And it is that time once again. We are going to be doing predictions. Now, we're going to be doing two sets of predictions here, all in the same show. First, we're going to be doing NXT TakeOver War Games, and then we're going to be doing Survivor Series. So we'll go ahead and start with NXT TakeOver, since that is going to be airing on Saturday. And then, of course, we'll be going into Survivor Series right afterwards, because that'll be airing on Sunday. The first match we have is Pete Dunn going up against Killian Dane, going up against Damien Priest. The winner of this match is going to get an NXT title shot at Survivor Series. That's right. That means that all three the major titles, the main titles for all three brands will be on the line at Survivor Series with this one. And I think Pete Dunn is going to be the choice for this. It doesn't really seem like there's too much of another choice on this particular one. I see Pete Dunn winning this match and going on to Survivor Series for his match with Adam Cole. Up next, we got Finn Balor going up against Matt Riddle in a match that honestly could be really good. It was looking like it was going to be Finn Balor going up against Johnny Gargano, but apparently Gargano is out at this point in time. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out throughout the night of War Games, because we still have one more person yet to be announced for Team Champa on the men's side of the War Games. But with that being said, they ended out replacing Johnny Gargano with Matt Riddle. I feel like this could be a really good match, but I don't necessarily see them having Finn Balor lose his first match back in NXT. So I see Finn Balor going over in this case. And just to let you know, with NXT TakeOver, there's only 4 matches, at least announced at this point in time. They'll probably have something that goes on before NXT TakeOver. Actually, this is going to be a little bit weird, because we're so used to NXT TakeOver, and then the next NXT right afterwards being kind of a recap show and maybe 1 or 2 matches. But now, since they're on USA, they really can't do that. So they got to do TakeOver, and then they've got to go right into the next stories. At least that's how I feel like they would do it. It'll be interesting to see how NXT on Wednesday ends out being, now that they've kind of got a different way, and now that they're actually on television and not necessarily on the network. But now going back into the predictions, it's going to be Team Champa going up against the Undisputed Era in the men's side of War Games. God, Regal, the way Regal says War Games is great. It absolutely is. Again, we have this aspect of a mystery person being in this match to go along with this. And I think that's going to be what has Team Champa go over in this particular case. I see them actually having Team Champa going over in this one. Probably sets up a little bit more for Champa going up against Adam Cole at some point in time for the NXT title to go along with that. It will be interesting to see who they decide to have for the... Sorry, had to clear my throat. Who they would have for the actual... fourth person who will be on Team Champa. My guess at this point in time, there's a lot of people thinking it's like, oh, it'll just be Gargano. Well, he's technically supposed to be out, which, they could have kayfabed that up a little bit, and he just ends up being in the match. But I'm going to take another potential return here, and I'm going to go with Velveteen Dream being the fourth person for Team Champa, because it makes sense for him to be the one in there if he is cleared to go along with that. It makes sense for him to go up against the Undisputed Era, because the Undisputed Era are the ones that took him out. So I'm going to go with Team Champa in this one. And next after that, it will be the Women's War Games. So this is going to be an interesting aspect. This will be an interesting aspect behind it, because it will be hard to tell whether or not, where the story of the women's division is going to go from here. And oddly enough, I won't say oddly enough, but in this case, I'm going to go with Team Baszler. because you have Team Baszler going up against Team Rhea or Ripley for that particular side, and I'm gonna go with Team Baszler winning this one because I see that maybe they'll have some of those heels maybe not turn babyface, but then they start being the ones that are getting the title shots, because if you've taken a look at everybody on Team Ripley's side, a lot of them have already had their chance at Shayna Baszler and failed. Tegan Nox and Rhea Ripley being the ones that did not necessarily fall in that category at that point. But I'm going to go with Team Baszler going over here. That is everything for NXT TakeOver. So we're going to go right into it next with Survivor Series. Let's just start off with the first match that was probably on there, and probably the newest match that's on that card to go along with it. It's going to be Adam Cole going up against the winner of that triple threat match from TakeOver. My call was Pete Dunn, so we'll say it's Pete Dunn in this case. I'm going to go with Adam Cole. I feel like on this particular night in general, they are going to be putting the Undisputed Era over. Yes, it's kind of a spoiler for my other predictions that go along with this, but it starts here with Adam Cole, or whenever they decide to put him into the onto the card, and then it's going to go from there to go along with it. So I'm got Adam Cole going over. So next we're going to have the U.S. title versus the Intercontinental title versus the North American title. It's AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Roderick Strong. Could be an insane match to go along with that. Honestly, you could see that in probably a couple of these matches on the card to go along with it. And I'm going to go with Roderick Strong. Again, I'm going with the factors that I feel like they're going to be putting over the Undisputed Era in some way, shape, or form all the way through this show on that one. And I'm going to keep to that track pretty much throughout the entire thing. So we'll bring it up next, which will be the tag team title matches. It's the Viking Raiders, the New Day versus the Undisputed Era. It's Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, the tag team champions. And of course, I've got Undisputed Era for that one. Kind of wanted to get that out of the way because I didn't, even though it wasn't technically next on the list, I've kind of gone this track and I want to keep going with that at this point in time. I don't see NXT winning all of the matches on this card, but I see them winning most of them. And especially when it comes to the brand versus brand versus brand matches. To go along with that. So I've got the Undisputed Era winning this one. Up next, we've got the Men's Survivor Series tag match. It's Team Raw, which consists of, I'm hoping I get this right off the bat. It's going to have Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Ricochet. We got Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Ricochet, and Kevin Owens. Okay, almost the first time. Team SmackDown being Roman Reigns, King Corbin. You got Shorty G, Chad Gable, Mustafa Ali in there as well, and Braun Strowman. And as of the moment of this recording, and this will be the same for the women's match as well, Team NXT is yet to be determined on that one. And oddly enough on this, I'm going to go with Team NXT. Out of the Survivor Series elimination matches, this is the one that kind of has story behind it. More so than the women's match. And I would say that they have something that they could do there that's going to have NXT, yes, even though they are going to be in War Games the night before, going over in this particular match, whether it be by turn or by nobody turning and they just win with that. So I'm going to go with Team NXT for this one. Up next is the Women's Survivor Series team. Again, Team NXT hasn't been announced as of the time of me recording this. SmackDown, I think, is just starting at this point in time. It could have been announced by now, but I haven't been watching quite yet because it doesn't quite air live for where I'm living at the point in time. So on SmackDown side, you have, let's get this right, you have Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, Carmella, you have Dana Brooke, and you have Nikki Cross. On Raw's side, you have Charlotte, you have Asuka and Kairi Sane, Sarah Logan's in there, and Natalya. And I feel like Team Raw's going in over here. Like I said, I don't see NXT winning all the matches. I don't. That's just my that's just my assumption on this one. So I'm gonna give I'm going to give this one on Team Raw side. I feel like they're going to be the ones that are going to pull out the victory in this one. It'll be interesting to see what the Team NXT ends out being in the end. I'm sure that there will be something for that particular one as well. So, like I said, it'll be interesting to see where that one ends up going. But I've got Team Raw for this one. It could lead somewhere. I don't know where it would really lead storyline wise. If Survivor Series was even going to start any storylines, there would be a good chance. There's a good chance here that they could try to start storylines for down the line with this particular show. Don't know if that's going to be the case, whether it be by distension or anything like that. Up next, we have the women's. We have the triple threat women's all three titles, not on the line, but the three main titles for the women's division going up against each other. You've got Becky Lynch, you've got Bayley, and you've got Shayna Baszler. You know what? They built this one up pretty good. They've made it like they made it to where you're feeling like your focus is around Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch a lot of the time. Bayley getting in there from periods of time to remind them that, hey, I'm here, stop overlooking me, type thing. And I think that's going to be the case, case of where they're going with this one. I'm going to go with Bayley. I am going to go with Bayley on this one. I feel like they could, yes, pick Shayna, have Shayna go over, or they could have Becky go over. But I feel like they're going to play this up that those two get so focused on each other that Bayley either sneaks in and gets the victory or just gets the victory in another way, shape, or form. Whether it just be not by nefarious means or anything like that. It'll be interesting to see how they play off this match. It's one of the matches that I'm actually excited to see at this point in time, to see where they go with this, because all three of them are really good. And that face-to-face that you have with Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch on Raw right after the whole thing with NXT started was absolutely fantastic. The factors of Bayley sneaking over to Raw and SmackDown to take out, or not Raw and SmackDown, but Raw and NXT to poke and prod at both Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler was actually really good as well. And also the receipts that happen afterwards to go along with that. So I've actually got Bayley going over in this one. I'm not 100% confident on this one, but I think it's a way that they could go with this. And so I'm going to go with Bayley in this match. Up next, we have Brock Lesnar going up against Rey Mysterio. Do I like these next two matches? Do I really have to go too deep into it? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a fun match. I feel like we're going to get a motivated Brock Lesnar in this match. Rey Mysterio is always good in these Giants style matches as well. But like I said, I think we're going to get a good match, and it's going to be fun to watch. But I'm going with Brock Lesnar. They could do things to make it to where Mysterio wins or something on that sense, to maybe to get the title off of Brock, but I don't see that being the case. I see that title staying on Brock for the time being, so I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar in this match. And the final match that we have is going to be the Fiend going up against Daniel Bryan, and again, I think this is going to be good. I really do. I really do think this is going to be a good match, but it's too soon to take that title off the Fiend. It's too soon to take the title off of Bray Wyatt in this particular instance. I'm going to go with the Fiend on this one, but I think this is going to be, again, a good match and something that will be very enjoyable to watch. So that is everything I have on this one. I don't really have anything else to say about the matches or anything to go along with that. So those are my predictions for both NXT TakeOver War Games and for WWE Survivor Series coming up this weekend. I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed everything. If you did, give it a like, share, subscribe, whatever you could do to support the channel. Again, thank you guys for watching. Take care and have a great rest of your night.